Hello, my fellow researchers. My name is Jason Szymanski, and I'm an analyst at Form Research, as well as a proud member of the MRIA's Emerging Leaders Task Force. In this SPSS video series, I will be covering common topics such as how to manage data, how to analyze data, and how to visualize data. Now, as this is an introduction video, you might be asking, what is SPSS? Well, it stands for the Statistical Package for the Social Sciences. Now, the data you're analyzing doesn't have to strictly come from the social sciences, and in fact, SPSS is often used to analyze all types of data. In the market research industry, SPSS is often used to analyze and visualize survey data. Now, the market research data I analyze typically comes from survey research, and if you are a market or social researcher, you would also likely be analyzing survey data. So the bulk of my videos will be focused primarily on survey research and survey data analysis. Now, without further ado, let's get right into it. You can see on my screen here, we're looking at the variable view of SPSS. Now, if you haven't seen this before, you might be wondering, wow, this looks a lot like Excel. And in fact, it is pretty similar to Excel in many respects. You can see here we have a number of rows and we have a number of columns, and together these rows and columns make up a number of cells, not unlike in Excel. Now you'll notice that the columns each have a title and they're predefined. Okay, and we're going to be going over what each of these are in a little bit. But for now, let's just take another look down here, and you'll notice that we have two tabs. We have the Data View tab and the Variable View tab. So like in Excel, how you have multiple tabs, in SPSS you only have two tabs, and they're predefined. So right now we're on the Variable View tab, and you can tell we're on the Variable View tab because it's the background of this box here is highlighted in yellow. And in our Variable View tab, or in our Variable View window in SPSS, this is where we're going to be listing our variables, naming our variables, and defining our variables on a number of key metrics. So let's just go through a couple important columns here. The first column is titled Name, and this is basically where we're going to be naming each of our variables that we want to analyze. So I usually do survey research, and so generally when I'm putting my variables here, I'm going to pretty much just name them by the question number. So in this hypothetical survey that we're analyzing now, I had 4 questions, and so I got 4 variables, and the variable names are Q1 to Q4 in this case. So let's skip over to label. Now label is similar to name, except you can think of it as more of the long form version of the variable name. Usually what I'll be doing if I'm doing survey data analysis or survey research is I'll put the actual question in the label column for that particular variable. So if our variable name is Q1, which refers to question 1 on my survey, the actual question for question 1 I'll put here. And in this case, it's what is your age? And I've done the same for each of our other 3 variables here as well. So if you want to take a look at the questions, you can go ahead and read them over. Let's skip over to this column here, and it's the values column. Now the values column is where you're going to be assigning numbers to each of your answer options for each of your questions, or variables you could say even. Now the first one is what is your age? So we're not assigning any numbers to anything there because it's just a continuous variable. Generally, we can leave this open to accept any numerical value from 0 to infinity, hopefully at some point. Question 2 here is what is your favorite color? Now I have predefined the answer options. This was not an open-end question, and we're going to take a look at how we actually assign a number to each of those answer options. You can see in this cell here there's information because there's 3 dots there, but you can't see it all. So whenever you click on a cell, what's going to happen is you're going to have this little blue box pop up on the far right side there, and that allows you to then see the information that's being hidden in the cell. So in this case, I'm just going to click on the cell, and I'm going to click on these 3 dots here, and I'll have this window pop up. So now you can see more information that's sort of hidden in that cell there. And what we see is our answer options for that question. What is your favorite color? So I defined it, or I predefined our answer options. So we have blue, red, green, and purple, and other if they don't like one of those 4. And we have some numbers here, and basically these numbers are just the codes or the values being assigned to each of our answer options. So typically, you might just do it in ascending order, and if you have an other category or a don't know, usually you'll put that as a 9 or a 99 or something that's kind of away from these numbers so that it doesn't get confused as being one of your, I guess, interesting answer options. That's kind of what you're going to be doing for values, and you can do that for each of the cells here, and you can see the answer options that I have. So for example, for what is your favorite food, there's these 4 foods here, and we have other. This is by no means a representation of my regular diet. It's just, I think, what are some common favorite foods. And this last column here, well, it's not the last column, but it's the last column I'll talk about because it's important. This is where you're kind of going to define the scale or the measure of your variables. So the first one is what is your age? That's a continuous variable, so it's just a numerical scale. Second one is what is your favorite color? We have different colors here that are not ordered in any particularly meaningful way, so we just keep that as a nominal variable, right? Nominal means there's no order to the answer categories. This one is ordinal, and that's because the question is, what is your highest level of education? And we have 3 answer options here. Of course, you could have more answer options, but in this case, just to keep it simple, we'll stick with these 3, and these are ordered from lowest to highest in this case. So that's why we're going to define this as ordinal. Okay, so so this is kind of the variable view. This is where you're going to be listing your variables, giving them long names, assigning numbers to each of your answer options, and then sort of defining what type of measure are we looking at. Is it a scale, is it nominal, or is it ordinal? So let's go over to the data view. Here's the data view now, and you can see along the top here are my questions. We got Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. And I don't know where this F came from. Let's just take a look. Oh, so I accidentally typed F in row number 5, and it gave us a new column here with F as our new variable. So that's interesting. You'll learn from that mistake that whatever you put in here as a new variable name will show up here as a new column. So again, we have our four variables that we're looking at here, Q1 to Q4, and along the side here we have about 20 rows. That's because I had 20 respondents in my survey. And so, for example, for respondent number 1, they're 22 years old, their favorite color is blue, their favorite food is pizza, and their highest level of education is high school. Now, a cool trick if you don't want to look at the string or the text answer options, if you just want to look at the numbers, you can click on View, and then you can click on Value Labels, and that will change it back to the codes or the values that each of your answer options had been assigned. And you can always go back and forth depending on what you prefer. The last thing I'll just talk about quickly is the output window. And the output window is where all of your charts and graphs and tables will be generated. So just to do a quick exploratory analysis, let's just take a look at some descriptive statistics, why don't we? I'm just going to highlight my data directly here in the spreadsheet, and I'm going to right click and choose descriptive statistics. And when I do that, this output window is going to pop up. And now the output window is, again, as I mentioned, where all your tables and charts and graphs will be generated. And so just a quick run through here. You can see it's given me a number of frequency tables. And that's commonly what you'll get from a descriptive analysis. Here you can see our two nominal variables. What is your favorite color? What is your favorite food? And some descriptive statistics in that table. Here we have them broken out, and we're looking at a frequency table. So here's the frequency column, and then here are my answer options. You can see people like green and purple equally, and those are both our highest frequently chosen answer options. Also, what is your favorite food? Looks like a lot of people like pizza. Well, 7 people like pizza, and that's the highest. And so on and so forth. We have a few other frequency tables here for our other variables. For the age question, it's a continuous variable. So this is basically just tallying up every single age that was selected and the number of people that selected that age. So this table, if you have a large continuous variable with many answers, this might be a massive table. So it's something to keep in mind. Directly from here, you can create charts or graphs, scatter plots, for example, from these tables. And in the other video, I'm going to show you how to do that. And the next video will be focused mostly on what's called the chart builder. So just a sneak peek here. This is where you're going to be generating all your different charts and graphs, and it's very easy and very intuitive, and it's a lot of drag and drop that goes on here, and you can play with it and really create some cool charts and graphs. So I hope you enjoyed this introduction video to SPSS, and if you have any questions, please feel free to email me, or you can contact me on my LinkedIn. And again, my name is Jason Szymanski, and I'm an analyst at Forum Research, and I'm making this video series on behalf of the Emerging Leaders Task Force. Stay tuned for our next video. Cheers!